The knock didn't sound like a knock. It sounded like a verdict. 6 in the morning. Darkness still clung to the windows like a bad dream refusing to end. I was half asleep on the couch, wrapped in an old hoodie, when the pounding came again, sharp, official, impatient. I opened the door barefoot. A deputy sheriff stood there, hat low, clipboard in hand. Behind him, a moving truck idled quietly, its engine humming like a threat. "Are you Daniel Hale?" he asked. I nodded, confused, heart already racing. "I'm here with a court-approved eviction order. You have 30 minutes to vacate the premises." The words didn't make sense. Eviction? From my own house? The house I'd paid the mortgage on for 3 years after my father's stroke. The house where I slept on the couch so my parents could keep the bedroom upstairs. "There's a mistake," I said. "This is my home." The deputy's eyes softened just a little. "The property owner is listed as Margaret and Thomas Hale." They filed the order. My parents. The world tilted. My ears rang. I laughed once, short, broken. "No, they wouldn't." He handed me the papers. My mother's signature was there. Neat. Familiar? Final? Behind me, I heard the stairs creak. My parents stood at the top, already dressed, already awake. My mother wouldn't meet my eyes. My father stared past me like I was a stranger. "We did what we had to do," my mother said quietly. "You were becoming a problem." A problem. I thought of the money I'd wired every month. The nights I slept hungry so they could eat. The job offers I'd turned down so I could stay close, take care of them. The deputy gave me a look that said he'd seen this before. Families. Betrayal. Paperwork making it legal. When the door closed behind me 30 minutes later, my life was still inside that house. And my parents were the ones who threw me out. I slept in my car the first night. Then the second. Then the third. The shock wore off quickly. What replaced it was heavier, quieter, a deep, choking humiliation that sat in my chest every time I closed my eyes. I replayed that morning over and over, the knock, the papers, my mother's voice calling me a problem. I didn't confront them. Not yet. I showered at a gas station, ate whatever was cheap. Watched the house from across the street some nights, lights glowing warm and yellow like nothing had happened. Like I'd never existed there at all. They changed the locks within a week. I tried calling. No answer. I sent one text. Why? It was left on read. That silence hurt more than the eviction. It told me everything. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a decision. A calculated one. I learned the truth slowly, like peeling back rotten wallpaper. They had refinanced the house using my income. Taken out loans. Maxed out credit in my name using access I'd trusted them with. When the debt became too heavy, they decided to erase the liability. Me. Friends told me to move on, to forgive. "They're your parents," they said, as if blood automatically meant mercy. But forgiveness is a luxury for people who weren't destroyed by the ones who raised them. At night, rage crept in quietly. Not loud, not explosive. It sat with me in the driver's seat, whispering questions. How could they do this? Why was I so disposable? What do they think I'll do now? Disappear? I didn't cry anymore. I didn't scream. I went silent. And silence, I learned, is where something dangerous begins to grow. The breaking point came on a Tuesday afternoon in a public records office. I was there to ask about legal aid, about appeals, about anything that could undo what had been done. A board clerk slid a file across the counter. "You should probably see this," she said. Inside were documents I'd never known existed. Power of attorney forms. Signed years ago, when my father was recovering from surgery and I was barely sleeping. They'd had me sign under the guise of medical paperwork. Buried in the fine print was everything. They hadn't just evicted me. They'd planned it. They'd waited until the timing was perfect. Until the house value rose. Until their debts were consolidated. Until I'd paid enough to make it profitable. Then they cut me loose. I walked out of that office shaking. In the parking lot, I sat in my car and laughed. A deep, hollow sound that scared even me. Something snapped, not into anger, but clarity. They didn't see me as a son. They saw me as a resource. and resources, once used up, are discarded. That's when the decision formed, not loud, not dramatic, cold. Precise. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to explode. I wasn't going to disappear. I was going to make them feel what they'd done. Not through violence, through truth, through consequence. I started the engine. And for the first time since that knock at 6 a.m., I knew exactly what I was going to do. Revenge isn't born in anger. It's built in discipline. I took 2 jobs, slept 4 hours a night, saved everything. I learned the language of contracts, liens, and filings. Spent evenings in libraries reading case law instead of watching TV. I fixed my credit, froze accounts, documented everything, every payment, every transfer, every message. I became patient. Meanwhile, I rebuilt myself. I stopped looking like someone who'd been sleeping in his car. Gym membership, clean clothes, sharp posture, confidence is armor, and I needed it. I consulted lawyers, but never hired one yet. I didn't want noise. I wanted leverage. Through public records, I discovered something beautiful. The house wasn't as safe as they thought. They'd made mistakes. Sloppy ones. Paper trails they assumed I'd never understand. Assets hidden improperly. Income unreported. Documents forged with my signature copied, not signed. I didn't rush. I waited. Every move I planned was legal, surgical, slow. Because the best revenge isn't destroying someone's body. It's dismantling the world they built on lies. I let them think I was gone. Then I reappeared, subtly. A certified letter arrived at the house, then another. Notices from banks. Requests for verification. Audits triggered quietly, automatically. I heard through neighbors that my parents were arguing more. That my mother had started drinking again. That my father looked scared. I ran into them once at a grocery store. They froze when they saw me. I smiled politely, said nothing. Walked past them like they were strangers. That terrified them more than shouting ever could. They started calling, leaving voicemails. Daniel, please. We need to talk. This is getting out of hand. I never responded. Silence had power now, and it was closing in on them. The first domino fell when the bank froze their accounts. Then came the investigation letters, the re-evaluations, the interviews. Their confidence shattered fast. The people they'd lied to weren't emotional like family. They were efficient, ruthless. I watched from a distance as everything they'd protected unraveled. They tried to blame me publicly, said I was unstable, ungrateful. But paperwork doesn't care about stories. Truth has weight, and it was crushing them. They asked to meet. Begged. We sat across from each other in a small conference room at a mediator's office. No shouting, no tears, just reality. You did this to us, my mother whispered. I leaned forward, calm, steady. No, I said. I survived what you did to me. I laid the documents on the table, one by one. You evicted your son, I continued, voice level. You committed fraud. You stole years of my life. This is just the bill. My father finally spoke. What do you want? I looked at them, the people who raised me, broke me, and taught me exactly who not to be. I want you to know, I said softly, that I didn't do this out of hate. I stood. I did it because you taught me how. They lost the house. Not to me. To the system they'd tried to cheat. I walked away with my name cleared, my future intact and a scar that would never fully fade. Revenge didn't feel like victory. It felt like closure. Some nights, I still wake at 6 a.m., heart racing hearing that knock. But now, when the morning comes, I open my eyes knowing one thing. They took my home, but they never broke me. And in the end, that was the only thing they truly wanted.